Hi guys, how are you doing? Hey ladies, hi Kim, Sandy, Lori, hi Gloria and Bonnie. Hi guys. See if I missed anyone. Hi Barbara. Thanks for joining, guys. I know I'm threading the needle between two lives here today. It's a big Fall Fest weekend for a lot of you guys that follow some of our friends at Softflex Company and Silver Silk and more. So I changed the time a little bit just for this week, and I want to apologize for that. And also thank you for being here with me for our Seed Bead Saturday. So today I have a really fun design that features gorgeous crystals from Sam's Bead Shop. And I'm going to show you the design really quick. So the earrings I have here look like little frozen leaves. So they're just little seed beaded leaves, and they really highlight those crystals. And the crystal you see here is the November birthstone. So I'm celebrating my birthstone there. And then I have a bracelet version. And what's cool about the bracelet version is that it makes a really awesome continuous thread path possible. So it's brick stitch. The entire thing is brick stitch, except for the little, peyote start I like to do on brick stitch. But you get all the way through it. And if you work from the midpoint with a long tail, you can do it in one strand. So I'm going to show you that. It's all done with this gorgeous silver-lined crystal seed beads. And the silver-lined crystal are in 8.0 and 11.0. So if you're working this design, you can use really any colors of seed beads that you would like and any color of crystal birthstone that you'd like. And I'm going to show you all the possibilities here on the mat. But I just wanted to point out that really all you need is 11.0 and 8.0 and then the beautiful bead, which can be a lot of different things. So this stitch is going to work for a lot of your designs. There is a PDF. So the PDF pattern is in the description, and it has an illustration for each of the styles, and it also has all the links you need to find Sam's project page, which has all of the stuff I'm going to use today. They also, in addition to that, have a really cool page that is gemstone birthstones that highlights all the different possibilities for gemstones that you can do for celebrating birthstone jewelry. Aw, thanks so much. Hi, Morphing Designs. Hi, Zakaya. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Julie and Hazel. Hey, guys. So I'm going to dive right in and show you the crystals. So let's see. I'm going to switch my camera really quick and get started showing you those. And again, any of the links for anything I'm showing you today can be found in the description to this video. And I'll try to drop links too. I'm on my own today. I don't have my friend Colleen because she is on vacation. She's on her annual trip to the coast that she does. So let's see. Can you guys see that pretty well? Oh, hey, Valerie. Hey, Helen. And Morphing Designs. Yep, I am live right now. And I'm just, I'm kind of winging it all by myself. So yeah, if I'm not dropping links as often, I apologize, guys, but everything's in the description. And if I get a second at the end, I'll pepper you guys with links right there at the end too. But so I wanted to show you all of the birthstones. So at Sam's Bead Shop, they put together a really inspiring palette for every month of the year. So you've got your Garnet for January. Here's your Amethyst, an Aquamarine. It's really pretty. Diamond for April. And then for May is Emerald, I believe. Alexandrite for June, which my son's named Alex and he's born in June. So I'm like, that stuff fits, right? Ruby is the color for July. Peridot is August. Sapphire is September. And October is a Tourmaline. This Tourmaline is really pretty. November, you have a choice of the Topaz, or which they're calling this one Citrine, actually. Forgive me. And then, oh no, Golden Topaz and Citrine. There we go. Sorry, I'm mixing it up I'm reading my little sheet here. And then we're on to the Tanzanite for December. But also in December, you could go a turquoise or blue zircon. So those are all on the links in my description if you're looking for those. And let's dive into the project. So I'm going to move over to my other mat really quick. That is gray because these are a little hard to see on the white background. So let's bring the gray over. It's a little better. But I'm also going to show you one other thing. So do you guys remember the Tucson mix that I believe was from 2024? Was it 2024? Oh, no, actually, hang on. It could have been 2025. Do you guys remember this design that we did together for Sam's? Well, I checked this morning and they had a few of these left. And this is their 80 and 11 Tucson mix. I made a version of this design with their Tucson mix so I can show you finishing. And I went ahead and stuck with the golden topaz. So there's another version, same stitch, just giving you some different color possibilities. So if you want to head over to their website and see if they've still got the Tucson seed bead mixes, I believe there's, quite a few of them left. So I was thinking, let's dive in. Let's do the earrings really quick, because once you've done the earrings, you'll know the basic stitches, and then I will show you creating a leaf and linking leaves. And if you had the idea to link the leaf configuration is just a little bit bigger than the bracelet one. So the earrings versus bracelet. If you had the idea to do this as your bracelet, there's absolutely no reason that you have to do these as an earring. They'll just be a little bigger. You'll get a bigger result for your design. So I'm going to use some Fireline. I worked with Crystal Fireline in 6-pound on these designs. I'm going to use smoke today just so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, hey, Nilay. Thanks, Morphing. Yeah, I hope this one is easy to follow. It's really just, your good old brick stitch design, but with just this kind of cool spin of making this start a little quicker. You'll be surprised how fast this works up. It's really fast. Oh, and here we go. So I cut about a wingspan. So when you're working with these kind of measurements, if you know your bracelet measurement is going to be around 7 inches, you can get this through about 65 inches or so, and you may not have to add thread to finish your whole design. That's on the bracelet. Oh, and on the earrings, you only need about, let's see, I wrote 35 inches and a 15-inch tail. And that 15-inch tail is what you do the little dangle with. So we're doing the earrings first. And I was thinking for visibility, I would just ask you guys, what do you think about this? Or do you want me to use just a darker color of random seed beads so you can see the stitches? I feel like the darker color is the way to go. It's not going to look as beautiful as it does in the intended design. And when you're working at home with these gorgeous crystal seed beads from Sam's, you get this beautiful result. But for clarity of what I'm doing, let's go with these kind of bright colors, and that should help us out. All right, so step 1, we're going to do a peyote start with 3 drop. It's going to make it so quick. So we're basically going to work this whole section in one swoop. So I'm going to string a total of 9 seed beads, and then I'm going to head back through my first 3. Yeah, Jody, I agree. Darker color is the way. And so it's not going to look as sharp, but it's still, you're going to get the idea. And I'll probably love it because you know me, I love dark colors. Oop. And apologies, I injured my hand earlier, so I've got this like annoying like band-aid there. Long story, it involves a box cutter. I won't gross you guys out. All right, and so there's 9 seed beads here. And again, I cut a length of about 35 to 40 inches, and I'm leaving a 15-inch tail. So skip and go back through the first 3 that you strung here. So you want to go back through those first 3. And then just pull your working and tail thread apart like this. And you can even help them sit side by side. The goal being to get a configuration that looks like that. And then for this first step, just keep everything pinched in your hand to keep it tight. We're going to pick up 3 more. And we're going to bring our needle through the last 3 we strung. And it's going to be a little loose with this first pass, but don't worry, we have a chance to tighten everything up. So now what you'll have is basically the first 2 beads of the middle row and the first 2, and when I say beads, I mean the stag. of the top row. Let's get 3 more. And let's head up through these 3. So we're just doing single column peyote. There's 3 more. Head through those 3. And our goal is to have 5 on the bottom and 4 on the top. So there's 3. Okay, so now we've got 4 on the bottom. And let me show you one trick really quick to tighten everything up. If you feel like it's getting loose on you while you're working, you can head down through the last stack. So just like that. And then you can head up through the one you were exiting before. So in that direction, that stabilizes your work as you continue on. I usually do that about every 3 ads or so. When I'm doing a really long one of these, that's incredibly helpful because it starts to loosen on you. And here we go. I believe this is my 5th one on the bottom. So I'll tighten this side here. All right. See how quickly we finish that? So what you see there is essentially that, right? Now we just have a little bit of brick stitch to do. From here, we're not going to be doing the multi-drop anymore. We're just going to switch now to single bead. And before we start with the single bead stitching, give yourself one more lock. So lock here on the working side. And over here on the tail side, do the same thing, but also bring it down to exit from over here. So I'm just going to put a needle on that really quick. Let me flatten the edge. I'm working without an index finger on my left hand. I've been having a week, guys. Oh my goodness. So what I'm doing here is I'm moving the thread to the bottom because this is my tail and it's going to make the dangle, right? And the tiny bit of brick stitch here at the bottom. So what I did is I just did some maneuvering there to bring it to exit from this bottom part right here. Hey, Suze. I'm glad you're here too. This design is so fun in so many colors. Oh my gosh, I'm going to make a lot of these. I think this would be really pretty with delicas too. And any beads. I mean, it's going to be really gorgeous. So we finished everything in diagram 1 and we locked in everything. And so now all we have to do is start doing a good old brick stitch design. We're just going to go 3, 2, 1 and do our loop for our ear wire. So really easy. I like to do a single bead start when I'm doing brick stitch. You can do a 2 bead start if you'd like. But I think especially with the white, let me show you again. With the white, you don't see the thread at all. So if you're working with crystal on those silver lined, this is the easiest and fastest way to do your brick stitch. So you'll just pick up 1 bead and you go underneath the first thread bridge there. Pull through and head up through the bead you just added. And you'll get that nice little pop right there. Thread is a little prominent here in what I'm doing, but you will not see it in the crystal. Oops, I'm going to move these tools over here. Next bead under the second thread bridge. Last bead under the last one. There you go. Flip it. It makes the really cool leaf shape. We're going to pick up 1 bead, go under the first thread bridge, head up through that bead, pick a second bead, go under the second thread bridge, head up through that bead. And now just pick up one single bead, and we will go under the only thread bridge we have. Oh yay, I'm glad you got your needle threaded. That's always like, that's the beginning part, and often is like the hardest part too for some reason. I've noticed sometimes I have to try more than once to get that needle going. But there's the top of our leaf, all ready to go. So I'm going to grab some 11OC beads. And again, this is just Sam's Bead Shop's Tucson mix I believe this was for sale in like late January, early February of this year, and they still have some, last I checked. But on the sample design, of course, I was using an 11.0 in the silver line crystal. And all the beads I'm showing you are Miyuki, except for my demo ones. I don't know what those are. They were just random demo ones. So for this top loop, you just want to string 3 11.0 seed beads. And I'm going to end up having just 2 different colors of 11.0. That's okay. No worries. Let's string that down. So you'll have something that looks like that. Head back through just that top seed bead. And then to make a turn and reinforce it, go down through the next bead up through its adjacent. And then you'll want to go up through that top one. And then reinforce your loop here. And I am mixing seed bead brands, so it's looking a little different, but I'll bring the sample over and show you what the Miyuki's on top of a Miyuki round looks like. So that's just 2 passes. You probably want to do 3 passes on that. And then if you have, let me grab them really quick. If you have any round nose pliers handy, something I like to do, especially before a photo, is I'll go ahead and just put them through my loop. It makes them look really pretty, especially after another pass. So what I'm going to do for time is just go ahead and weave in on mine, but just know on your sample, you might want to do 3 passes for reinforcing that. And to weave in, all you got to do is just start bringing your thread around. I cut longer thread than I needed, so I've actually got quite a bit of extra. You might have enough too to head down here and meet your tail. So I still have a needle on my tail side. I could actually work with my current working thread, but long story short, there is the top done. And at the very end, we'll pop an ear wire on that. But let's get some crystals. So these, I'm going to work with, I have a lot of these left, so let's go with these. 1 strand goes a really long way. I made the entire sample set and my demo set here, plus these earrings, with 1 strand. It really doesn't use that many. Oh, thanks, Marianne. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, doesn't it stitch up fast, Neely? It's really quick, isn't it? And it's such a pretty little leaf shape. So with your tail thread, or if you have lots of working thread like me, I'm just using that. We're just going to string, well, first we're going to brick stitch our base. So really quickly, I'm going to show you brick stitching from here. Same thing we did on the top. I'll just go through. There's row 1. And this base will have 4 to start. Remember at the top you only had 3. And that's because we just had our brick stitch start there with a stack of 3 beads. Okay, here we go. You'll be able to see how quick one of these can be made. I'm flipping it back and forth because I like to work with my brick stitch from left to right. And sorry, I just lost my needle because it keeps catching on my mat. There we go. There's 1 and 2. And here's our last bead. So I'm just brick stitching one single bead onto there. And there's our leaf. Isn't that a cute pattern? And when you do colors, like if you want to do a little colored pattern, I put it into the pattern for you in black and white so you can color it with pencils if you want to. And that's true for the bracelet one and the earring one. If you want, they're just a light gray, so you can take some colored pencils or markers or Sharpie or something, and you can color it to make different patterns. But there it is. And so for the embellishment, really easy. You just string 1 11-0 and a bicone, 11-0, bicone, 11-0, and 1 bicone. So there's the first part of the dangle. And then I did something kind of creative to make it look like a little bit of, you know how dew hangs on leaves and it kind of just pools at the end in a little drop. I got creative and I did an 11-0, 2 8-0, and then 1 11-0, and string that on. So what you'll have, oh, forgive me, I skipped one of like that doesn't look right. So backing up here, you'll need 1 11-0, 1 8-0, then another 11-0, another 8-0, and 1 more 11-0. So this is what you should have if you want to make the little drop. Well, essentially, it's just an 11-0, an 8-0, 11-0, 8-0, 11-0. So, sorry about that. So there that goes. And skip all of that. So all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we just strung here, just skip those and bring your needle back through all of these. And when you get to the base, go ahead and go through that 8-0 seed bead. That's the little tip of the leaf there. And the little drop you get looks like that. So there's what it looks like colorful. And there's what it looks like in the ice. And I think the Miyuki is more round than these. I think what I've got here are some Tohos. So it's going to look a little bit more round in shape, more like a drop when you're using the Miyuki crystal. All right, so let's go ahead and just do one reinforcing pass. I'll show you what that looks like. Go up through a few beads. And then head down. And you'll notice I don't mind going back and forth through the work, like pushing through this way. Whatever your needle does is just fine, as long as it's going through the bead you want it to. And this also, reinforcing this drop, it's actually optional. If you wanted to not reinforce it, it might be a little more flowy. So I leave it up to you if you think it needs it. You could always just weave in right after that last step there. But reinforcing it is no biggie. You just go through it like this. Head up through all those beads. And back into the work. That's it in a nutshell for how to make the earring. And then just very simple, you just pop an ear wire on that top loop. And one thing about loops for ear wires is the more passes, the more tight your loop's going to get. It's going to look a lot sharper. If I had reinforced that one more time, it would have looked even sharper. So there's your little leaf design. And here's the way it looks when it's all finished with its ear wire on and everything. So that's, sorry about my hand there. That's how to do that. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the other leaf now. And we can just stick with these blue ones. If you're liking these blue ones, they're pretty easy to see. There we go. So the bracelet leaf is really, really, really easy. And I'm going to just zip through it really quick. And then we'll switch to my finished sample to show you just putting the last little steps on it. So the only real difference between the earring is I wanted the earring to be more statement and taller. Thanks, Valerie. So what I did here for the bracelet, since it's going to be a repeating, I did 2 instead of stacks of 3. So you see in this one we were doing the stacks of 3. Here we're just going to be doing stacks of 2. And we do have one step I want to show you where we're going to be doing increasing. And I feel like that's pretty important to see. So I'm just going to zip through really quick. Hopefully I have enough thread here. You know, I'm not confident I do, so let me cut a new strand. Let's see. There we go. That's probably enough. Now, again, if you're doing a full length, I'm not going as long with this one because I think it will hit my lamps if I have full length going. But when you're working on yours, go ahead and cut a wingspan of 65 inches or so, even 70 inches. And if you want to work from the midpoint, you can leave half that length behind as a tail when you start the first leaf. And then that enables you to work from the middle leaf out. You can go back and use your tail using the method I'm going to show you for how to join. So let's just zip through this super quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 this time because it's stacks of 2. Head back through the first 2. You'll get something that looks like that. Yeah, Sandra, there probably is. This pattern is a lot more simple than that. I think an ivy leaf would have a lot of little points on it. So we're talking about a probably a more elaborate brick stitch pattern in that case, but definitely doable. A really good pattern design software I've just discovered is called Loomerly. And Loomerly has a way that you can use a stylus on your iPad. So you can sit there and just go to town like you're in a coloring book, just making beautiful, beautiful designs. All right, there's the first part of the leaf. Super easy. And then again, go ahead and do one of your reinforcement passes with both your working side and your tail side. And then with that tail side, again, you want to bring it down through the adjacent stack. And when you get here, go through the third end from the edge, up through the second, down through the third, and pop. You got it. Okay, so very, very cool. Now on this side, all we have to do is our regular 3, 2, 1. So we just go, there's 1. Here's, they're jumping all around. Here's 2. And here's 3. Flipping in my hand to work from left to right. And just 2 here. That's 1. And here's 2. Last one. Put that right on that last thread bridge. And there you go, bottom of the leaf. Now let's flip over to the tail side. Still have my needle on that one. And on this side, take a quick look and note that we have another set of 2 stackers. And I did that just because I want it to be symmetrical for this particular leaf. Because it's, it's a bracelet. So just giving you options. Of course, that can become your leaf for your bracelet too. No issue there. They're going to work the same way. But I'm going to show you how to do this 2 stacker thing. It's really simple. You're just working with 2 instead of 1. So you want to pick up. In this case, we're going to have to do what's called a 2 bead start. So you're going to want to pick up 4 beads and bring the needle under the second thread bridge. This is a decrease. So you want to go under the second. We picked up 2 beads because this method of starting with 1 bead doesn't really work with stacks of 2. So I had to switch to that little 2 bead method. So 4 beads, second thread bridge, and then you just head up through those 2 beads. For the rest of the row, you just pick up 2, go under the next thread bridge, and then pick up 2, go into the next. Rest of it is super simple. You're just doing your good old 1 bead dropping. There's 1. You guys are going to get to see a lot of brick stitch in this design. There's 2. There's 3. I'm going to need a few more seed beads. Last one. Few more here. Let me just push those out of the way there. There we go. Okay. All right. So check that out. That's your beautiful leaf. And now the next part. The next part that's really fun. How to join it and just keep going. Hannah, yeah, it's brick stitch, but it doesn't have any fringe, but yeah, it's similar. In fact, very close, I guess, to the margarita ones. In this case, we're just going to be going to start a new one by creating a connector. And the connector I created is an 11-0, a bicone, an 11-0. And then we're going to start a new leaf, and you get to see some increases worked. And the increases are really, really fun. And so to work an increase, I'm going to switch over to this side here. And let me get a bicone really quick. So 11-0, bicone. And let's do a turquoise 11-0. There's our connection. Now pick up 3 of your size 8s. So you'll have 11-0, bicone, 11-0, and 3 size 8. And from here, we're going to go back through, skip those last 2 8-0 that you strung, head through the 8-0, the 11-0, bicone, 11-0, and go all the way through to the other side's beadwork here. And what'll happen is those 2 beads, they're going to form a little pop like that. And so I'm just going to head down through the beads that are just underneath this point so I can make a turn. So just like that. And head back through all of these beads now. You'll go through the 8-0, 11-0, bicone 11-0, through the 8-0 above that. Make sure you made it through. Sometimes on me it skips it. And then go ahead and head through one of those 8-0. And it actually doesn't matter which side. Just get yourself exiting from one of those. And now we have a increase. Whenever you start an increase, you want to pick up 2 beads. And so I'm picking up 2. I go under the first thread bridge, or the only thread bridge we have, up through the second bead, pull tight, and there's our start of an increase, and pick up 1 more. Oops, I'm going to go with one of these. And for this new bead, go under the same thread bridge. You only have 1, so just go ahead and go under it. And then head up through that bead you just added. Use your thumbnail to kind of tighten. And what you'll get is that first row's increase like that. So you've done this. Now we need to do an increase row that has stacks of 2. Oh, thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, inventive/lazy, because I didn't want to add thread. So this is how I got around adding thread. Isn't it lazy? But lazy is good. Lazy saves you time and means you make more jewelry. So now we want to pick up 2 and 2. And we'll just go under our first thread bridge here. So we only have, for this row, we only got 2 thread bridges to work with. So we're going to increase out of both of them, the start and the finish. And since it stacks of 2, we got to pick up 4. Go under the first thread bridge and head up through the second set. So there's your increase with 2. Pick up 2 more. Go under the next one. Head through that. 2 more. And share that last one. So 2 more beads, share the last thread bridge. And then you just want to head up through. Sorry, I'm having trouble holding it through these 2. So there's an increase that has stacks of 2. You have to do that one more time. This is the middle row. So pick up 4 under the first thread bridge. And then head right back up through the last 2. And you'll want to pick up 2 and go under the middle. And then another set of 2 under the last thread bridge. And another set of 2. And this time go under the last thread bridge again. And you can't see it, but you can kind of feel for it. Sandy says she's seeing a fish. Yeah, that's so cool. So there's those. And now we're just doing the same thing again. So this is just decrease now. So you'd want to pick up, in this case, we have another row to go of 4. That's stacks of 2. So we'll pick up 4 here. But this time, because it's a decrease, we want to go under the second thread bridge. Oh, and Sandy, yeah, I actually have a fish pattern. If you're interested in a fish pattern, I have a really cute one. It's on my website. If you search fish under my patterns and tutorials page, it should come up. And so since this is a decrease row, it's really easy. Just go another stack of 2 and another stack of 2. And then head up through that last one. And guess where we are now? Super easy, almost done part of the leaf. Regular single bead row. This is beautiful, even with these wonky, irregular seed beads I'm using. They look so cute. So you can imagine how much more satisfying it is with the Miyukis. They're really nice. And I would encourage you actually to try this with Delica. I haven't done it myself yet, but I feel like this pattern would be pretty with Delicas. There you are. And so that last leaf, the last tip there, a tip I could give you is if you want to go down through the bead on this side, when you're working with the crystal, you won't see the thread. And then head up through the adjacent. And then head up through the bead. It actually, on the crystal, ignore the thread on this one, but on the crystal ones, you can make that really pointy by going on both sides of the thread. So you can kind of see how pretty that is there. But that is how you do it. So now you've got your, sorry, it's a little wonky. I pulled too tight on that side, but that's how to link them all up. So you just keep going like that. Go as long as you want to create beautiful leaves. And when you get to the end, it's really easy to put on your clasp. All I did was I did a series of an 8/0 seed bead. And so I'm going to just grab a needle really quick, just any old needle. So it looks like this. We've already got this 8/0 right here. And I just strung 5 seed beads, I believe it is. and then another 8/0, and I went through a clasp. I'm going to grab a clasp really quick to show you with. Let's just see, I've got something random here. You can use anything you'd like. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seed beads. Then 1 8/0. Slide that down. And you want to go through the ring on whatever clasp you're using, or jump ring. Closed jump ring is really good for this kind of thing. So you'll have that. And then just head back through the 8/0. And just, if you hold the clasp, you can tighten it like fringe. See, it's just kind of like that. We're going to string 5 more. And head through the 8/0 seed bead here at the top. So that's how I did the clasp on that. And of course, you'd want to reinforce that, weave it all around to do that. And watch that thread looping on itself. It likes to do that. So you see, it'll just bring you right back up. So you can start getting through and reinforcing. Same thing on the other side. You can see where I added thread just once here. Same thing on that side. Oh, hey, Jenny. So that, in a nutshell, is how to make this gorgeous design. It really does go quick. See how fast we did that? I mean, we were just through it so fast. So I'm going to just browse for questions in case I missed questions. And then I'm going to put the beautiful jewelry here on the mat without all the thread going crazy for you guys to see. But there's our little earring. And then the really gorgeous ones. The crystal does, it levels it up. Oh, thanks, Lucinda. I'm glad. Hi, Nancy. And hey, guys, thank you for joining. I know a lot of you guys just came over from the Fall Fest, so I appreciate you being here. And so if you want to catch the replay later, we just went through how to make the beautiful bricky stitchy design. And I know we've got Nilay coming up here at 2:30 on his channel. So I'm going to be with you guys for that. I'm going to head over there right after this one. So we're having a fun Saturday. Isn't it cool? So let's see. I've got a few minutes here, and I just wanted to double check questions and show you the crystals again. So Sam's Bead Shop just added all of these crystals. And so they have one for every month of the year, including some bonus ones. There's 2 for November and 3 for December. So those are our months coming up. And I had never seen the blue Zircon combo before. Thought that was a really, really pretty idea. That one is really fun. And the Citrine and Golden Topaz. I was working today with Golden Topaz. And then I wanted to share that also, they sent me so much, but I made everything that I showed you today, including my in-process samples, with 1 strand. So your full set of jewelry to make the whole set. And let me get you measurements for this bracelet. With my clasp and everything, which on this one, you see I did a lobster and all that. So this one ended up being at full length 7.5. So you see, you can probably make that shorter. A couple ways you can make it a little bit shorter is instead of doing the 5.11 here, you could take that down to like 2. So lots of stuff you can do there. But so I ended up only needing 4. And then for each earring, I needed 3. And your strands come with enough to make 2 complete sets of jewelry. So here, I'll show you what I've got so far on this one. With the 1 strand I used for this sample, I was able to make these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 5, 6, 7, and I have exactly 3 left. So you can make 2 sets of jewelry with 1 strand of crystal. That's great because crystal tends to be kind of like a little bit more like investment like for jewelry, but it also is the timeless things that really sparkle for holiday gifts and things like that, and very special for birthday because they're personalized. So you're going to get a ton of jewelry out of just like one strand. It's pretty sweet. And if you're really loving this, I just went crazy with a mix that I had from February. And if you're looking for it, it is on Sam's Bead Shop still. If you just browse their seed bead section, in their seed bead section, you'll remember this piece that we made back in, I think it was late January, early February. I need to go look, but it's called the, what was it? It was the Turquoise Tucson seed bead mix in both 8.0 and 11.0 that I used there. And it just, look how cool that is. And I kind of mixed up because there's a lot of colors in that mix, and you only need 3 if you do this pattern. The pattern I just did like layers, right? Really poppy layers. The different colors, I think, level this up like mad. But then I'm still in love with the ice, because this could almost be like little ice, you know, crystals forming on leaves. So I love this too. And that, this will go really far. You could make one for every like month of the year. I think you could probably get like 10 pieces of jewelry or more out of a tube this big. And again, these are the Silverline crystal. And everything I'm showing you today is linked at the Sam's Bead Shop the class project. If you download this PDF, these are clickable links for you. So you can just click them. And then also there are clickable links in the description too. Also take you to the video so you can rewatch. And then a special little bonus here at the back. And this is also, it's in color, guys. My printer's only been printing black and white. I do not know why, but I did create this for you in color, so no worries. But what you're seeing here is a little bit different. This is a page that they've created in addition to the class landing page. This one is all gemstone birthstones, and it's wild good. So if you want to browse that, be careful, you'll go crazy there, because I did. But it's really fun. And so I got a bunch of stuff, like my mom's birthday is in December, so I got a bunch of different colors. I'm going to do a multicolor one for her. So I was so inspired by there being 3 color options for December. And I thought, how cool would those be together? And I'm going to do a little special one for her and get that all going. So for you December babies, you get 3 birthstones. Pretty awesome. All right, let me bring myself back. And heading over here. Sorry about my big light. It's always in the way there. It's really good for the map, but it like shines right in my eyes and I can't even see my own computer screen when it's there. So, oh yeah, Nancy, printing in black and white would allow you to color it. Although when you see this in color, I made these, they're grayscale, even in a color print. But the parts that the color is good for is just the image on the front. The hyperlinks are also easier to see in the color version, and then the little icon. But yeah, other than that, there's no reason you shouldn't have to print it in color to make it make sense. So yeah, so it both works. That's why I didn't bother reprinting it. I could have, and then I'm like, I didn't want to like use more paper when it's totally seeable in that configuration. But that happened like earlier this week. I was working with another pattern of mine, and I printed it right before I sat down to film. And I looked at it like right when I was filming, and I'm like, hang on, what's going on in my printers? So until I can figure it out. Oh, thanks, Valerie. I'll see you guys. Yep, I will see you guys. I'm heading over now to join you. I'm enjoying Fall Fest. I hope you guys are enjoying Fall Fest and that you loved our leaves. It's just perfect with the Fall Fest theme. So I feel like we just like checked all the boxes for feeling cozy. I just need a latte. I'm going to get a latte. All right, so I'll let you guys go a little early since we got through it so quick. But if you have questions for me, please reach out. If you have any questions about gems, you can reach out to me or through Sam's Bead Shop for any questions about these. And I can always try to answer it for you too, because I'm more than familiar with the shopping options as my wallet knows. But it's really fun over there. So yeah, anything you guys need, let me know, and I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.